Hello, guys. Thank you for joining me once again. And in today's episode, you might see this one as maybe somewhat of a cautionary tale for all of you that are out there and playing this game and other gacha games, because I have fallen into the game's trap. This is a gacha, after all, and they do want to make money, and they do lay out traps like this every once in a while. And as you are aware, we are in the midst of this God Fairy event, which it's already completed. The sign-in event already completed all the sign-ins. I already claimed all the rewards, and as you know, they have also a summon event in this during this time, where there's a higher chance to obtain this new legendary hero. The chances for it are supposedly 300% over the regular rate, and if you look at the summon details, there's obviously some kind of fail in the text, because it just says during the event the probability of blah, 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 and it doesn't say anything else. So we have to take their word for it. I do know of players that have gotten this hero in the event, but I sadly haven't. And if you take a look, if you're curious enough to go into one of my older videos, the previous one would do, you would see that I had about, I don't know, 7,500 diamonds. So that's 7,000. No. Yeah, 7,500 diamonds at the time, and maybe a little over that. And I decided to go all in to get this hero. And why have I decided that? I decided that because this hero had I went into his kit, and I thought that it was a big one, not because of his ultimate. Well, all of his abilities seem useful, but the one ability that caught my eye was his A2, which applies unhealable for 2 turns on a 3-turn cooldown. So this ability can get one of the enemies to be unhealable for 2 out of every 3 turns. And unhealable, it's kind of a big deal on higher level dungeons, and namely the I don't know that much about a Void Tower, but on the Endless Trial, it's kind of a big thing, because there are champions there are enemies there that will heal on every turn, that will heal on every hit received, that will heal every time they hit you. Well, they will heal a bunch of ways. So it's almost I wouldn't say impossible, of course, but it's really hard to bring them down unless you can apply unhealable. And although there are heroes, elite heroes, that will apply unhealable on enemies, I was really looking forward to getting a hero that would be either legendary or epic, that would justify having this ability alongside any other good abilities on this kit. So I saw this one and I decided to go all in, and it didn't work. I must have made well over 100, maybe 120, 130 advanced summons. I did not get the hero. I did hit the Mercy, and I got one new legendary. It's not a bad one, but it's not let me see if I can, yeah, and here it is. I got Hector, so it's a good damage dealer. So I wouldn't say it was a waste of time and a waste of resources, but it wasn't just the guy that I was looking for. On a brighter note, I did pull not only Hector, but I did pull a bunch of epics and elites that might help me on either synthesis or maybe a little further up the line when I have a good core of heroes that are level 60, and I do need to specialize on some of their abilities. One of such heroes, speaking of the unhealable, is this guy. This guy has a surprisingly good kit to face those challenges I was telling you about, the enemies that go and heal on every turn, because this guy on his A1 applies unhealable to well, has an 80% chance of applying unhealable to enemies. So it's a really good thing to have on his A1, because that means that even if he has even if he's affected by silence, or even if he's affected by any other restrictions to his abilities, he will always be able to apply his A1 and apply unhealable. This is well, a very good kit, a very good addition to this hero. And his other abilities, well, they ultimately they're not as useful as having this ability on his A1. So this is why I've brought him up to level 50, and I will have to maybe build him further, because being an elite means that his base stats are not that high. So I will have to probably build him to get a bit more HP, a bit more defense. But even at this state, I already used him on let me just show you. I already used him on the endless trial, on the level 70 endless trial, namely on the boss enemies of the first and second rounds, because there's this one guy there, that's Rourke, if I'm not mistaken, that will gain about 2000 HP every time he's hit. So this means that unless you're hitting him for over 2k HP every time you hit him, he will be gaining HP on every turn, making him almost impossible to kill. So either you're using poison, or you're using a really hard hitter, or several hard hitters, because otherwise he just won't get below necessarily, sorry, you just won't be able to bring him down. So I've used him even at level 50, but with the bonuses at the endless trial, he was able to survive. Well, not technically. Well, he was being down by the enemies, but then Mithasia would be bringing him up again. And thanks to him, I was able to clear the endless trial on level 70 a couple of times. So other than that, what has been going on? If you remember from my latest video, I got Brand and I developed a new core team, and with that core team I was able to clear all of the adventure modes. So right now I have already cleared all 10 chapters of mythic difficulty, but what this core team was not able to do, unfortunately, was to get me further ahead on the bounty hunt. I am currently stuck at stage 70 of the bounty hunt. I just cannot deal enough damage to this team, because you cannot see it here, but one of the enemies on the opposing team is Blackhorn, and he will just apply healing and removing negative effects to all the team, and I just cannot deal enough damage to bring him down and bring the other enemies down. So if I go with a sustainable team, a team that can be sustained over time and just do a little bit of damage on every turn, I won't be able to deal enough damage. If I go with a burst team, I I also can't deal enough damage, and they will die that much sooner. So it's just something I can't deal with right now. Another thing that I cannot deal at the moment is the Void Tower. I've gotten up to level 20 on hard, and this roadblock kind of baffles me, because when I go into the strategies and formations on these levels, I see formations that are very similar to the teams that I am using, and it kind of baffles me, because it is possible to go into these formations and just see how they are equipped, how they are geared, what kind of equipment they're using, what kind of damage they're dealing, the stats that they have. It's not that high, and I think that my team has approximate levels to these teams, and yet I cannot bring myself to advancing through this level, and I'll have to maybe just take a look at videos or whatever. Overall in the game, I think I'm getting to a point where I definitely will have to watch videos and watch guides. I have been trying to do this on my own and learning stuff on my own, but I'm getting to a point where my ability and my reasoning and my resources are just not enough to get through it. So I will probably need some more help from this point onward. What I have been able to do is I have been able to farm stage 12 of Quinotides quite consistently. I have not 100% win rate with this team. I'm just going to show you. It's not a 100% win rate, but that's not because my heroes die. It's just because that Desmond is still not leveled high enough, and sometimes he dies in the third wave, in the boss wave, and sometimes in the process of dying and being resurrected by Mythasia, the battle will sometimes drag itself really long, into really long battles, and I wasn't aware of this, but apparently there's a 50 turn time limit, 50 turn limit. So if you reach, I think it's turn 50 and you still haven't won, it's an automatic defeat. And I wasn't aware of that, but other than that, it's been consistently getting victories on this stage 12. I have been getting some nice pieces, but my RNG on upgrading these pieces is just awful. And let me just show you, just for the sake of example, let me just show you, where is it? Let me just show you one of the pieces that I got. I am always looking for cursed set and on the with the crit rate stats. So this was the piece I was trying to show you. 6-star with crit rate. I upgraded to 9, and not one of the upgrades went to crit rate. And this is a common problem, because it seems like pretty much all of the upgrades that I have, it's a nightmare to get them to crit rate. It's beyond our ability, of course, but unless I get better pieces with crit rate, I'm never going to be able to get my heroes with the gear that I want them to have. And so I don't have that much more to tell you about. From this point onward, I will obviously I will need to upgrade my heroes further and get their glyphs to the highest levels, the ones that don't have them yet. and probably try to keep on farming Queen of Tides to get high level gear and hope for better rolls. And let's see if that can bring me to better results on the Void Tower and on the bounties and on the other dungeons, of the Arcade Dominator. And that's gonna be it for this video, guys. Sorry this wasn't a very happy video, but you know, this is in fact the journey of a regular player on this game, and maybe you have reached this point and this kind of obstacles in your game, and maybe you haven't yet, or maybe you won't have, or maybe you won't get to them at all. You won't have the same kind of difficulties that I'm facing. Anyway, I would love to hear your input in your comments, so feel free to write a comment below, and I will see you on the next video. This is Vodka 7 Up signing out.